can feel and see the passion that you have for the game and also the club. When did you decide to turn towards coaching? You've obviously done coaching courses and obviously a young man who wanted to have the responsibility of being a leader, and leadership is providing the example and knowing what you're talking about and directing them and answering queries. When did that start to appear?
Yeah, this is a good question as well. You're full of these ones, Lee, I tell you. So what actually happened was Alex Lewis took over I think he was an assistant coach through Dell. So Dell was head coach at the time. Correct me if I'm wrong, this could go back probably 7 years, maybe 6, 7. So Dell was head coach and Alex Lewis was assistant coach. And at the time, I was captaining the first 11. And that was going through that developmental area as well. And we then come to an era where Alex Lewis took over the head coaching role and he wanted a director of cricket. And Lex thought that I had what it took to be able to kind of take care of that area. My background is obviously personal training and coaching as well. So I've got, I'm pretty much a people person, and I do resonate with people really well and know how to get the best out of people via communicating with them. So Lex essentially said, I want you to take care of this. And he put me on as a batting coach at the time. He thought that I had the communication and the technicals to be able to coach these, kids and other seniors at the club. So he made me a batting coach, which was probably the first thing, an assistant coach, and then and then director of cricket. And then Lecky, I think, ended up coaching for 4 years. And I think it came to the end of Lex's 4th year. And Gus obviously has done a fair stint in the president's role, and not many people know this. But we had a couple of meetings to see if there was a transition behind, the new era coming in and kind of helping out with the committee. And at the time, Nathan Barry was assistant president as well. And there was a couple of meetings around myself possibly becoming the president or vice president. And that was purely just because of, I guess, leadership skills and communications and being involved and knowing how things operate. And so we had quite a few meetings, but there's a part of me that thought it was the right thing, but there was also a part of me that was like, I want to stay more involved with the playing group rather than the actual, officing behind the scenes. And the amount of meetings we could have had and playing bits and pieces to say what's going to work. And Gus will probably laugh at this because when we look back, it was the correct decision. And we kind of said, no, let's roll it for another year. And when we said that, we were kind of looking for a new head coach. So Alex Lewis had stepped down after his 4 years, and that was the transition. It was like, okay, well, I'm not going to do the president's role because I want to stay involved with the playing group. I've been an assistant coach, been the batting coach, been a director of cricket. I'm a coach myself, job-wise. This is insane. What am I doing? And it was just, I think I was away camping, actually with Leck and Walshy, and I just had this moment in my head where I was like, what are you doing? Coach the club. There is no better time than right now to coach the club. And I thought, this is gonna be insane. I've all of a sudden gone from talking to the committee about being a possible president of the club to then, hey, pick me, I want to be the head coach. So it's like, what do you actually want to do? But the penny had dropped because I'd serviced, I'd played under Sean Brown. For me, it was like the Sean Brown era to then the Brendan Barry era, learning from both of them, to then going to Dallas's era, Lex era. I don't think I'm forgetting anyone. I think Alistair Borton was in there as well. And I just thought, I've learned so much from these guys, and they're all different cricketers, and they're all different coaches, and they're all different captains. And at the time, I was like, I feel like I've got every little piece of them within me because I've been through that era. But also I know how to deal with people. I know the people at the club. The guys know me very well. They know how I work. And I just thought, let's do this. Let's coach the club, and build on the last 4 years that Lek had worked on developing, especially the younger players coming through. And the penny just dropped. And I thought, let's give this a red hot crack. The support was there. So yeah, that's how I got there.
Fantastic. So last year was your first year. So you've walked in pre-COVID. So you've had in quotes a normal sort of period, and then we start to get interrupted a little bit with COVID. But in fact, we got interrupted a lot with COVID when you think back. So coping with COVID the first year, when you've got to coach a squad remotely, how hard was that?
Look, it definitely had its challenges. I would say more so the planning was frustrating because, it's your job to prepare these players, and without yourself knowing what's exactly going on, you can't let the players know. So you kind of feel like you're letting others down. But at the same time, your hands are tied. You cannot do anything. So for me, it was all about preparation. If we get given the go-ahead, this time, this is our plan. If we get given the go-ahead this time, this is our plan. And almost just having different types of plans to say, okay, well, if this happens, this is what the plan's going to be. But I guess my biggest asset is communication. That kind of saves me a little bit in getting the players to understand, well, we've got to buy in. As soon as it's go time, we have to buy in. We don't have a choice. But what I will say is that I believe it actually brought our playing group closer together.
Mm-hmm.
And it also, when I say closer together, I think it also brought the competition closer together, becoming one-day cricket. And that also instilled a little bit of belief in the club, because we were like, well, competing with, your high-end money figure clubs as well, we're sitting there going, well, we've now got 40 overs to compete. And I think we made the most of being closer to every other competitor on that ladder. So I would say, yeah, it had some challenges, especially with the planning. But I would say that all in all, I think it done us a favour. I think it done us a huge favour.
Well, it turned out to be an incredibly successful year. Okay, didn't bring home the bacon in the first, but the seconds won the premiership. The thirds were very unlucky, but probably if luck had gone their way, would have gone pretty deep. So quite a remarkable year when expectations, as I recall it, weren't that high to where you finished. When you look back, what do you think sort of happened to ensure that expectations were exceeded?
Well, in regards to, once again, saying how we brought the competition closer and we only had 40 overs to bat, I guess, especially Mickey Hayes in the first 11, and Dennis has been a big part of that through his years as well, is, one-sided wicket bowling or strict, dot ball pressure, that had been ingrained in us now for so long and over the years that even through one-day cricket, we'd learnt how to bowl the channels that we needed to bowl. And then as batsmen, especially before I took over, Alex Lewis putting a lot of work into the technical side of the batting, and the shot development and the shot play and being positive in the way that we play cricket. It's not just defensive. It's not looking to stay in. It's looking to score. You want to put runs on the board, you've got to actually play shots. And so what had happened was, it was an opportunity for players to say, hey, well, I've only got 40 overs to bat. Now, it's not like you go out there swinging, but you've got to get yourself in a lot quicker. You've got to rotate the strike. You've got to have soft hands. And all these little things that we were developing, especially for two-day cricket, came in really handy, because all of a sudden it was like, you have to do this. Because if you don't, you're only going to end up with 100 on the board. So it was, if you do this, we will be successful. And so you've seen the likes of Dan Gregory, who just excelled. You've seen the likes of Marcus Murphy, who obviously came into the club, and Bold Channels. These small things, they all add up, and they're all the 1%ers. So as much as we recruited well, Michael Hayes obviously did very well there, but I think we were extremely lucky that it was when the penny dropped in regards to soft hands, rotating the strike, hard running between the wickets. Still working on that one, Gus. Don't worry about that. Ball striking, playing your shots. These are all 1%ers that we said it's a non-negotiable. We have to do it. And so, after all the development, all the shot plays in the last, 4, 5, 6 years worth, all the young kids coming through, everything clicked. So I wouldn't say there was one thing. I think it was a matter of, you don't have a choice. This is the style of cricket we've got to play. But we built up to that over the years. So I think it was everything coming together at the right time. And with the challenge posed, I think everyone responded really well.
And the highlight, of course, was the premiership of the twos.
Amazing.
You played a good part in that. Dennis played a good part. Young Daniel, went big in the grand final, and so it was fantastic to have that sort of success after a tough period.
Oh, look, I've always been one that we play cricket because it's socially, motivating, but to win cricket, everyone wants to win, and no one likes to feel the loss. But I feel like, especially through the developing years, there's so much pressure put on, the captains when you lose. But then when you win, it's very much a team-based, well done. So I would say that at the start of the year, there was lots of, I hope Dennis doesn't mind me saying this, but there's probably people that weren't sure about how Dennis would rally the troops. But he turned the twos around after around about round 5. People were talking and saying, this isn't working. We had a small meeting and we went through, we said, okay, well, this is what's happening. And so Dennis, changed a few things, and because we were able to communicate, he took the bull by the horns and said, this is the way things are going to go. This is how we're doing it. This is why we're doing it. And led the side and got the best out of the side all the way into the grand final. But the best thing about that two side, and being a part of it, I guess, being able to realise what it was, is that there wasn't one person in that side that thought they were better than another person. It was, when it's my turn to perform, I'm going to perform. Or when you get in, go on and make runs. If you're bowling well, bowl well to the end. Don't try and do more than what you're capable of doing. And that was the message, is that I think I called it about round 7. I said to these boys, there is not a time that I feel like we can actually lose a game. There is not a time where, even if we were, 5 for 10 chasing 200, I'd still feel confident that we can chase down to 200. And then everyone kind of looked at me like, yeah, that's the way I feel as well. And I think it was that moment where it was, we can be beat, but we won't be beat. And it was like, no, we're going to dig deep to make sure it doesn't actually happen. And we're going to take the entire season all the way to the end and win this thing, because we knew we had a side that was built for one-day cricket, but we're very versatile. We had a few all-rounders in that side as well that was like, yeah, I can do a couple of things. We bat deep. We've got plenty of options with the ball. And we field really well. So, yeah, that two side was something, and credit to Dennis, like I said at the start, is that, the way that he rallied the troops and took them all the way to the end, it's something that he should be really, really proud of.
And of course, Hazy was fantastic in the ones. They played some great cricket during the course of the year and had some big scalps. How's it shaping up for this year? We're expecting improvement.
Yeah, look, credit goes to Michael Hayes. I think here's another one. You know, people saying, well, after his first year, what's happening? What are we doing? And he wanted it. You know, and I'm a big person. If someone wants it, give it to them because they'll fight for it. They want to prove you wrong. You know, and he wanted it, and he took, you know, once again the bull by the horns and said, I know what we need to do. Let me do it. And that was one thing, I guess, with my coaching, is I've always said to the captains, I'm going to let you own your side, but you are responsible for your side, and I'm going to help facilitate, you know, thoughts and the processes and the training and all that. But come game day, I want you to be responsible for every single little thing. If you have a gut feeling, go for it. You know, if you have an idea, go for it. If you need to use me or use the leaders and insiders with a soundboard, use me. But do what you think you need to do to get the boys across the line. So I'm pretty much I need you to take control of your side. Complete responsibility. And all 4 captains did that. Michael Hayes was just about bothering me every single day on the phone. I'll be driving around to some clients and he'd be like, sorry to bother you. Can I grab you for 3 minutes? You know, yes, Michael, you can have me for 3 minutes. Or there'd be times where his name would pop up and go, I'll call him back in half an hour. Don't feel like talking to him. And he probably knows that too. But the credit to him, because the amount of thought that he put into the game, results don't happen without someone thinking so much into that level of thought. And so he's planning, his thoughts, he's communicating not only to me, but the rest of his players. Michael Hayes is obviously, I would say old school in regards to the way he liked to rally his troops. It's pretty much my way or the highway, but he kind of got a grip on, you know, all these little things that players would respond to well. And the way that he communicated between his first year and second year of captaining that first 11 was, I would say, completely different. You know, he understood how to communicate with every single individual player, which is a task. It is a real task to do, but he managed to do that. And therefore, he got the best out of those players. And once again, he's a captain that goes a lot off his gut. I know a lot of people don't like captains that go off their gut, but Hazy has a lot of experience in cricket as well. So, you know, if he sees something, he sees an angle on the game that someone else doesn't, he's got to back it. And he did that. And I'm really grateful for the way that he took on that first 11 because I think he was the best man for the job. So credit to Michael. He done an extraordinary job last year. How we're shaping up for this year. We've had, I think it's turnover of, in the first 2 grades, we've got about 9 players out. We've done this about 9 players. A couple of players have gone down the line. A couple of players have gone back to their local clubs due to work, family commitments. But I would say that once again, it provides opportunity. And that's the message to these young players, is that we've seen the likes of Dan Gregory, when you get an opportunity, you know, Daniel Dodonna, who stepped up last year, when you get an opportunity and you play your role and don't do anything more than your role, you will succeed. If you trust that you have what it takes, go and do what you do best, because that's why you were selected. So I would say that there's a couple of spots up for grabs. I would say that there's an opening batting spots up for grabs. There's an all-rounder spots up for grabs in the first 11. But I would say in the second 11 winning the flag last year is that there's a couple of players that are saying, pick me, pick me. So this pre-season, this short pre-season we're going to be given, it's going to be, okay, who's going to be putting their hand up and putting in the extra 10% to be given that opportunity. With Michael Stretton on board this year, new first 11 captain, very, very excited to see what he can do. You know, I know he's excited to be at a new club, and he's getting that vibe that I got when I first came to the club in regards to the welcoming feeling. So he's on board with the way that we do things. I think it'll be an exciting year. Once again, 40 over cricket, 15 one-day rounds. Everyone's going to be nice and close together in regards to the ladder and competition. So let's win the small games where, you know, we lost by less than 15 runs, and we'll go all the way. Very confident.
Well, I wish you well. I've been down to training a few times last year and couldn't believe how superbly it was organised. I would have loved to have played in that sort of environment. So congratulations on that. for a young guy, you're very impressive. I see, Luke, that you've got a bachelor degree in exercise science and management, and diploma in remedial massage and traditional Chinese medicine. You're a strong believer in health and fitness, and provide coaching in that area to a whole raft of clients. In fact, you've made a business out of it. So you're one very impressive individual, and the club is very lucky to have you involved. Very lucky to have seen your development and identified your potential to be a coach. So congratulations.
The honour's mine, mate. I'm a lucky person to be given an opportunity and be involved in such a family environment that you want to be a part of, especially, guys that I've known now for 10 years. I wouldn't be who I am without Preston Cricket Club, to be honest. I thank Preston Cricket Club, mate, to be honest. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. We wish you all the success across all grades during the course of the upcoming season. We'll be down there to watch from time to time.
No dramas. Thank you very much, mate.
All right.
Appreciate your time.